Welcome to Star Trek Voyager Recaps on Fridays. We are on Season 3, Disc 2, Episode 143. And when I first saw this Sacred Ground situation, I'm thinking, didn't we do this already? Didn't Chakotay have his thing a couple times now? But apparently this is Janeway's thing. And we do get a Captain's Log Stardate. So let's look here. Let's predict now. When there's a Stardate Captain's Log update, we get an outside view of the ship. Let's just go take a look, shall we? Oh, look! An outside view of the ship! Let's see, make sure this is up. Captain's Log, Stardate 50063.2. We've accepted an invitation from the NECHANI to take a few days shore leave on their own. We are enjoying the opportunity to learn about their culture. And I think we're going to be doing a lot of itching and bitching and complaining about can't see anything in this episode. Let's see. Okay, here we go. What did I say? What? You can't do this. You can't have these scenes. If I can't see anything, how do you expect me to watch the episode if I cannot see anything? Okay? So apparently, there's a magistrate guy. There's Cass and Neelix. This sanctuary honors our ancestral spirits. Their presence is very strong here. Those are the brothers of the NECHISTI order. They've devoted their lives to serving the spirits. Here's something you might find interesting. Oh, and Janeway's there too. I missed her. Let's see if we can find her. Those are our two worshippers. Oh, look! B'Elanna and Kim are there. But they really don't have much, say. Let's go on here. Cass and Neelix look at a wall of ancient writing. So Cass sees this bright light. It looks like a couple of light bulbs. Parallel light bulbs, don't know. But she ends up passing out and they have to take her up to Voyager. Alright, that's where she was when she got knocked out. Oh, look! All of a sudden, we can see now. All the cloak and darkness when they went in. But oh my God, someone turned the lights on and now we can see. We couldn't see when they first went in the cave. No, you had to be all dark and mysterious. And now they turned the lights on. They couldn't turn the lights on before. They had to wait till this moment to turn the lights on. So it wasn't, we didn't need to see our guest star explaining stuff. No, we just need to see our standard crew. So they beam Cass and Neelix up to sickbay, and B'Elanna says, we aren't going anywhere until we find out what happened to her. What kind of energy was she exposed to? The magistrate says he has no idea. This is a sacred place. Only the monks understand what happens here. Kim examines the area, and they're going to investigate themselves. The magistrate says it's out of the question. It would show disrespect. And B'Elanna says, one of our crew is critically injured. We're not going to stand by and do nothing. And the magistrate says there's nothing you can do. She's being punished by the spirits. She's going to die. If you prevent us from helping Cass, we will hold you directly responsible. And Kim says, I'll make a full report to Captain. And the magistrate says, I'll talk to you later. So then we're in sick bay, and Janeway, the doctor, and Neelix Tess are there. And the doctor says her life signs are very weak but stable. It appears that her synaptic pathways have undergone severe neuroleptic shock, which is disrupting all cortical function. It's similar to a comatose state, but with none of the usual biochemical markers. Neelix wants to know if he can cure her. The doctor says, I can't even speculate on treatment until I know what caused her condition. Janeway says, we're working on that. We aren't allowed near the area where the accident occurred, but Kim and Taurus are scanning the sanctuary from Voyager. They'll report their findings to you, and I have an appointment to talk to the magistrate. I'm hoping he'll be able to clear up some of the items and restrictions. And Neelix wants to help. And she wants Neelix to get the scientific data from the area. We'll see what happens. So she brings the magistrate up to the ship for a chit chat. He says he's in a difficult situation. I'm the official of a government. I'm not the spiritual leader. And she wants to talk to the spiritual leaders. And he says he's asked the council to give you an audience. They say the matter is closed. And she says they are sorry for your loss. She says Cass is still alive at this juncture. We want to be able to treat her. We need to know what happened to treat her. And he says we have an agreement, separation of church and state. They go through some more discussion. The magistrate tells her about the monks, how they prepare themselves for sacred ritual when they speak directly to the ancestral spirits, and she wants to know what happens, and he goes through this whole thing. And he's like, well, she was approaching the shrine. You're not supposed to approach the shrine if you're not one of the appropriate people. So then the captain gets a report from the doctor. She says, what have you learned from Kim and Taurus? He said, I received a fascinating lesson in the challenges of getting clear scanner readings through solid rock. We are eventually able to distinguish an intense biogenetic field at the site of Kessa's accident. That would certainly explain the neuroleptic shock. She was lucky not to have been killed instantly. As I understand it, then monks are able to enter the field without being harmed at all. Really? I don't expect they'd care to tell us how. No, they wouldn't. So then Neelix comes in, and Janeway and the doctor are watching Neelix over Kess. And the doctor's like, the damage is so severe, he's not sure if he can actually fix it. So then they come and talk to Neelix. He's researched everything he could on the sacred shrine. I didn't uncover much scientific evidence, but there is one story in a very old text, I'm not sure how reliable, about a boy who recovered from a condition like Cass's. He was a young prince. He wandered into the shrine accidentally and went into a death sleep. Everyone said it was the will of the spirits. His father, King Nevad, refused to accept it. So he went through the ritual to seek an audience with the spirits and pleaded for his son's life. And they granted him his son's life. So now Janeway's going to try this. So then the captain gives him the story. And he says, well, you've done your research. It suggests he's familiar with the story and he's heard about the child. It suggests there's a chance for Cass. You're talking about a very specific case. Nevid was able to claim responsibility for the prince as father and as king. That's why the spirits were willing to listen to him. The captain of a ship is fully responsible for every member of her crew. So she is, and on that basis, I'd like to go through the ritual myself. Uh-huh. I feel a Chakotay situation coming on here, don't you? So, Janeway is reporting to Chakotay that she hasn't heard from the magistrate yet, but he seemed to think there was a strong possibility that they would let her go through the ritual. And Chakotay's like, but you've never been one to put much trust in religious ceremonies. Exactly what do you hope to accomplish? If you're asking if I expect to speak to the ancestral spirits, no, of course not. But something happens to the monks when they go through the ritual, something that allows them to withstand the effects of the biogenic field. I want to find out what that is. It might provide clues to treatment. Some kind of psychological change, maybe. That's what I'm guessing. The shamans of the Karos tribe on Delos 7 practice a ritual that increases the electrical resistance of their skin. It protects them from plasma discharges in their sacred caves. Something similar must happen during this ritual. We'll have to find a way to allow the doctor to monitor your physical conditions and should have a way to call for an emergency beam out if you need it. As precaution, we don't have any idea what the ritual entails. I've been reviewing the Federation Cultural Database. Most traditional spirit quest ceremonies involve some kind of physical change or test of endurance to prove the mastery of spirit over body. My instinct tells me this will be similar. And of course, Chakotay knows all this because he's been through this a few times. So the magistrate calls her, and says that she's been given permission to do the ritual. So we're in the transporter room, and Kim is telling her that they've put an implant in her arm to monitor her biological signs and to boost her location. And a homing beacon will be able to monitor you no matter how far into the sanctuary you go, and just tap it like a comm badge, and we'll transport you immediately. So again, we're in the caves, and we've turned the lights out again. I couldn't have left the lights on from before. No, we had to turn the lights off to make it look a little more mysterious. So she's down in the thing. I don't suppose you know anything about cryodynamic lights. The guide says. No, not really. I suppose I could look at it. They're as fussy as trachea cats. You tune them too high, they burn out. You tune them too low, they sputter. I've told the monks to replace them all with neon lights. It would save hours of repair if you could work on it. What is that? It's called a tricorder. A tricorder. What exactly does a tricorder do? It's a scanning device. May I? Atmospheric reading, energy field analysis, field technical database. This is certainly a convenient guide. The monk puts it in his robe. I didn't give it mean for you to keep it. Oh no, you won't. You're my guide. Guide, advisor, spiritual companion, whatever term you prefer is fine with me. Why didn't you say something earlier? Shall we get started? And he's asking you all sorts of questions about if you're willing to go through what the monks have been doing for centuries, find the spirit guide. You can send biochemical data back to the ship. No, it wasn't magic. A bioscan has detected the probe in your arm. They know what's going on. So they took her clothes off, took her hair down, and they're painting her face. She asked Catherine about 20 different questions. Are you willing to do this? Are you willing to participate? Blah, 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 blah. 20 questions. So then she's put in this room where she is sitting with some other people. And they're just listed as old. And the guy's like, who are you? And she's, I'm Catherine Janeway. Is this where the ritual begins? Oh, yes, the ritual. We're waiting. Come join us. What exactly are you waiting for? Just waiting. How long have you been sitting here? How long has it been? Why are you asking me? I lost track. And they just go back and forth with useless chit chatter. They get insulted that she won't sit and hang out with them for a while. So she goes to the door and knocks on it. And it opens. So like I said, she knocks on the door opens, the woman is standing there, she says she wants to get started with the ritual. So then she's like, I want to get started with the ritual. Let's get this done. And she saw, what did you expect? I have no idea what to expect. I've studied a number of ritual societies, and many of the rites have commonalities. This one may be completely different. I'm willing to do whatever you want. I don't doubt that, but you realize all this is meaningless, that the only thing that matters is your connection to the spirits. I'm going to make every effort to do that, but I didn't come here for personal enlightenment. I'm trying to save a member of my crew. That's a worthy cause, she says. I hope the crew listens to you. And she tells her to uh stand a certain way. So she tells her to stand a certain way, and she gives her a rock and tells her to look at the rock. And she asks what she sees. She's like, I see a stone. And she says, keep looking at it. So then Chakotay and the doctor are monitoring Janeway's life signs. And the doctor says her respiration and pulse have remained steady, but there's been a gradual buildup of lactate acid in her extensive muscles over the last hour. What does that mean? Is she in danger? Not at all. She's probably experienced slight strain, what you expect during an endurance ritual. There's nothing so far that would suggest a treatment for Cass. It's too early yet, the doctor says. So, she's still standing there holding the stone. So then they have her finger painting. And they talk about the fact that Janeway's sister was an artist and that Janeway liked mathematics. And the woman says, yes, you have a problem, you solve it. That's mathematics. Uh, okay, so now we have her doing some rock climbing. Then we see her with the stone again, and the woman asks what she see, and she doesn't say a stone this time. I want to say something before I leave this page. I just thought about it. Do you remember Captain Picard getting brainwashed by the I think it was the Cardassians, and he had the five lights, and he was looking at the five lights, and by the end of it, he wanted to say something different, and he believed the different, but he knew it wasn't. It was still the five lights. That's what this reminds me of, the brainwashing situation. So then we're back on Voyager, and Doctor went, ah! And Neelix went, what? There have been slight increases in the captain's respiration, neuropeptides, and adenosine triphosphate. Is that bad? It certainly suggests that she's going through a grueling experience. It's the neuropeptides that are interesting. The saturations have risen to quite an abnormal level. Is that good or bad? I can't say either so far as the captain's concerned, but it's certainly a substantial piece of information. Neuropeptides this level, this could well create a natural barrier to the bioenergy. So you have something that will help, Cass? Not yet, but it's the first piece of the data that allows me to formulate a hypothesis. Neelix, you're wallowing. It's useless remorse. I'll have to ask you to stop. It's bad for the patient. He cares for Cass. So then we're back down on the planet again, and they're giving her some water. And the guide is telling her your microprobe should be transmitting all kinds of interesting information to your ship. Um, and then the lady gives her a basket. Uh, it seems like there's a snake in the basket, and she gets bitten, and there are 3 large puncture wounds in her hand, and she faints. And Janeway says she's dying, and the guide says everyone dies. Yeah, we'll just skip that part. So they put her in this thing. Hey, anybody watch Stargate? Put them in this sarcophagus. So the doctor and Chakotay and Tuvok are there, and Chakotay's very stressed out. It's been 3 days since she's had any sleep. How long are we going to let her go through this? I understand your concern, Commander. I must point out that her vital signs are stable. She seems to be in no immediate danger. She's been poisoned by some unknown toxic. It may be having an effect we can't gauge. It could lie dormant for days and then suddenly fluctuate and kill her in minutes. You seem to be implying that I'm not paying attention. I assure you I'm monitoring her constantly. If I thought she were in jeopardy, I would act. Doctor, is there anything that we might prevent her from using the homing signal in her implant? Not that I'm aware of. She's fully conscious and completely motor control. If she wanted to transport, she would signal us. They're just stressed out. And I would be too. So then they show this, and Jamie wants to know if it's an hallucination. And the guide says, I'm only here to serve as a voice and interpreter for the ancestral spirits. I see. If there are other beings here, can I see them myself? You mean you want proof that we exist? That would be helpful. It's irrelevant. I don't want to be disrespectful. I've gone through every part of the ritual that I've been asked to. Everything you've gone through is meaningless. You've been told that. I know. I want to bring this to a completion, to make my request. Then by all means do. I cite the story of King Nevid as president. In the same way he pleaded for his son, I ask that Kes be restored to health. Your request is inconsequential. You have what you need to savor yourself. Put him in the sarcophagus! Because you know, on Stargate, you put the person in the sarcophagus, it closes, and it heals them. So then she tells the woman that she's been told that she has what she needs to save Kes. So the doctor says she needs a good night's sleep and a solid meal, but otherwise she's okay. When can you begin treating Kes? Right away. The ritual may have been arduous for you, Captain, but it was certainly worthwhile. As I suspected, the toxin was the key. That's what produces the natural immunity to the monks before they enter the biofilm. How does that translate into a cure for Kes? I've created a physiometric program to analyze the immune mechanism and develop a treatment regimen. Let's get started. He goes to the bridge. She needs to go sleep. So Janeway and Neelix watch as the doctor treat Kes, and he says he wants to do it in stages. And the machine starts beeping all over the place. And he says her cardiac functions are being disrupted. I don't understand. The electroheme should counteract the disruptions. This is baffling. Her biochemical levels are exactly what they need to be to correct the damage. She should be awake and alert. Why isn't she? I can't explain it. Her vital signs are unstable. I have to discontinue the treatment. I don't understand. Can we try it again? It's too dangerous. And the doctor's like, Captain, it appears that everything you went through was meaningless. So then Janeway goes back to the planet. You meant what you said. Everything I went through was meaningless. Yes, I did everything you asked of me. You led me to believe that would allow me to help Kath. I haven't led you anywhere, Catherine. You've taken me along wherever you wanted to go. This is your ritual. You set these challenges for yourself. It's It's true that I came here with certain expectations. Are you saying that you simply fulfilled my expectations? You have settled for nothing less. I'm not ready to give up. If there's still a way to save Cass, I want to try. You've come back to see the spirits. I don't know what I'm seeking. Then I believe you're ready to begin. And she starts all over again? So she's back in this room again with these people. Well, look who's come back. So your little venture didn't quite work out the way you wanted. You put yourself through a lot of trouble for nothing, didn't you? Oh, don't feel so bad. You wouldn't believe some of the things people have done to themselves on their way to seek spirits. There is no real spiritual after all. Real is such a relative term. Most of the challenges in life are the ones we create for ourselves. And you are particularly hard on yourself, aren't you? I've always been driven to succeed. Stubborn, I'd say. You really didn't consider sitting and waiting with us, did you? Well, I'm here now. I'm asking for your help. I want to understand the purpose of the waiting room. But isn't it enough to sit and be sociable? We're good company. That's what I'm supposed to do. Talk to the ancestral spirits. We were a test, and now we're the ancestral spirits. Are you? That would be nice and quantifiable for you, wouldn't it? If the spirits were something to see and touch and scan for your little device. If you can explain everything, what's left to believe in? I know it's an important part of your religion to trust the spirits without question, but I wasn't brought up that way. It was hard for me to accept. So much for your tolerant, open-minded Starfleet ideals. There's a difference between respecting the spiritual beliefs of other cultures and embracing them for myself. Fine, don't embrace a thing. It's all the same to us. Go back to your ship and play with your molecular scanner. You've tried all that already, but it didn't work. Kess isn't better. Why not? The doctor couldn't explain it. So it's inexplicable, a miraculous non-recovery. We still haven't found the reason. Of course you will. You'll find the answers eventually, with time and study and the right tools. That's what you believe, isn't it, as a scientist? Be honest. Yes, that's what I believe. Even when her science fails before her eyes, she still has full confidence in it. Now there's a leap of faith, unconditional trust. That's promising. Um, so they go through some more conversation, and they tell her to take Cass back to the shrine and trust the spirits to return her soul. So the whole thing she went through was completely meaningless. Or was it? This was her spiritual guide. So then Janeway tells Chakotay to beam Tess back down to the surface so she can put her on the steps so the spirits can heal her. So she takes Cass up to the light, and Cass wakes up. So the doctor's explaining to them what happened. The tricorder readings Commander Chakotay took at the shrine revealed traces of iodium ions, which we could have known about sooner if we'd been permitted to take those readings in the first place. Are they significant? They caused a temporary dielectric effect in the outer epidermal layers, but neutralized some of the bioenergy. Not much, but enough to make the captain's altered biochemistry an effective defense. How was I cured? The metabolic treatment I administered protected you against the full impact of exposure to the field when the captain took you through. That exposure functioned like a natural cortical stimulator and reactivated your synaptic pathways. It's fascinating. It's perfectly sound explanation, Doctor. That's very scientific. And she leaves, and the episode ends. So she went through all that for nothing, or did she learn anything, or did she have any, um, what you call it? Where is any knowledge or anything? Um, I don't know what you thought of that episode. You'll have to let me know in the comments. And, we got Futures Part N, Part 1 next week. All this jumping around with the episodes is just weird. Hi, and don't forget to check out If Then Later this afternoon. If you like this book, you might like that book. Voyager, I'm not Voyager. JD Rob tomorrow. Unboxing on Sunday. Flashback Monday. Could use some ideas for that. Please leave them in the Flashback Monday boxes. And, my daily book reviews. And I put out a survey, although he's probably not available now because it's the height of the season. But I had put out a survey to my YouTube followers and asked them if they would join me live for this thing, and YouTube never showed it to anybody. But there's another one out there. Would you join me for a live viewing? Everybody watch their own TV and their own episode of Voyager as I'll watch my episode, you watch your episode, and we'll talk about it live. But I want at least 10 or 15 people to show up. If no one's going to show up, there's no point. I sit there, talk to myself. I'm talking to myself now. So anyways, we'll see what happens. Have a good one.